My name is Macharia Munene. I'm Professor of History and International Relations when I teach at the universities. Otherwise, I'm a researcher. I'm involved with the Harmony Institute in Nairobi as an advisor. And I engage in a lot of public activities. Born and raised in Kenya. Well, light, enlightenment, knowledge, the effort to spread positive things about humans, not confined to one particular place or group, but to bring that awareness that spreads comfort and minimizes frictions. In part because ignorance is the root to chaos. So the Hizmet movement does try to reduce the amount of ignorance in the world, whether it is about other communities or self, by increasing the amount of knowledge that people have. It hopes to reduce frictions and therefore enhance the possibilities of peace. And I guess in the background of the Hizmet movement is the knowledge that, or the belief that peace is created. It's deliberate. You deliberately create peace by exposing people and knowing what the dangers are and therefore doing something about those dangers, stopping them from becoming products of chaos. So in that sense, the Hizmet movement can be said to be a peace movement, in the sense that it helps to create the sense of peace in the world. If people were to embrace the spirit of the Hizmet movement, the spirit of awareness, of enlightenment, of the positive things that humans can do together, then the likelihood of some of the conflicts we see in Kenya, whether they are political conflicts, cultural conflicts, or just socioeconomic tribulations, will be reduced, and you increase the sense of trust amongst the people. And because with knowledge, you generate confidence. And with confidence, fear becomes reduced. And therefore, the need to think of how to beat up somebody else does not arise, because there's no need for it. So the Hizmet movement in Africa, in Kenya, would have that enabling capacity to orient people towards peace as opposed to warfare. And I think it will be a major contributor in that sense. And we can say that where it has been, and sometimes it expresses itself through actions, like schools, and social services like hospitals here and there, contributions to the needy here and there. But mostly it's about awareness creation and letting people know that there is no need of fighting over what one believes or does not believe. I think that's what Pope Francis worries about, the exclusivity mentality, that somebody else is wrong because he doesn't agree with you. I think the Hizmet says, wait a minute, I think, give them a chance, let's hear what somebody has to say. It could be right. So the Hizmet movement would have space to listen to other people. And when one listens to other people, there may be something there that is worth and can improve one's lifestyle, one's future, just by knowing more, rather than remaining ignorant. So for the African countries where the Hizmet movement is involved, there is that generation of harmony and an attempt to reduce tensions because of small misunderstandings, which do not have to be there. And they will not be there if everybody is made aware. First interact with the Hizmet is when I was looking for a school for my boy some years ago. Talking about more than 15 years ago, and, when my son was looking for a school, and I had heard about, not so much about the Hizmet movement, but about the school. So an occasion arose that I needed to go and find out where this school is. And that's when then I started interacting with it and trying to find more about it than I had thought before. From that point, my interest, not just in the school, but in the force behind it, increased. And I started attending some of the functions, like the Abrahamic lectures and dinners and all those things. Every time they would be having some functions, I would attend and become more and more involved in it, to the point where they were organizers asked me to be an advisor. And I said, well, it's not a bad idea. I'm happy to be part of that and to contribute as much as I can to the understanding that they promote and to what happens. As a person, I can say I have benefited in the movement because I have had to interact with a number of people that I did not know before, and to visit their work and institutions, similar Hizmet institutions outside Kenya. It was that their Bantu conferences, Abantu, not Abantu, Abantu. And I think I've attended about one or two of them, and then made some presentations there about my perspective on certain issues that were arising. That was very encouraging. At one time, I think twice, I met the Archbishop of Cape Town, who was also attending those conferences, and we struck some good rapport. I've been fortunate in that, apart from the Archbishop of Cape Town, Anglican Archbishop of Cape Town, he had a chance to meet the leader of the Hizmet movement, Fethullah Gulen. It was a big occasion, and we were there with the chairman of the Harmony Institute. And the spiritual leader gave us about half an hour to talk, and we were there discussing a wide range of things about his vision and expectations, what he would have wanted to see. He did mention that there had been a time when he and the Pope were discussing opening up an interfaith university, but somehow the idea got derailed a little bit because of some geopolitical turbulence and some other turbulences that made it difficult to actualize. But the dream is still there, which I thought was very good, and some encouragement as a way of promoting interfaith collaboration and understanding. So he told us that. We were very happy. We talked about a few other things about Africa and his perspective, which was very encouraging and positive. And you noticed that he was very sharp, very clear, and has a good grip. You can just shake and they say, a good grip, and, which was very good. He's also humorous. He's a man of humor. He may not look it, but he has some sort of humor, which we liked. So I think that's one of the other highlights, and I can say that in particular remains in our mind, those who had that opportunity. In Kenya, I think the Abraham discussion have been very critical for bringing, because we have seen people of different faiths coming together to discuss current and pertinent issues of the day. And it's not been confined to just religious leaders, it's all people who have something to say. So whether they are diplomats or politicians, religious leaders, and they are not all of the Judeo-Christian version, or Judeo-Christian and Islamic version. We've had also Hindus, and because they are all faith. So those, before COVID came to interfere with the normal performance, those were regular activities that we got involved in. We have had very good support from religious leaders in the country, the Anglicans, the Presbyterians, the Methodists, and the Catholics. I think at one time we had a function at the Holy Family Minor Basilica. There are new offices where we hosted an interfaith discussion involving everybody, and it went very well. The Cardinal at the time, of course, had said, "Use it, do it, go ahead." And so we commend the various religious leaders for being open-minded and encouraging interfaith discussions on the future of the country, so that we can minimize conflict and unnecessary frictions. So these are some things that come to mind when we discuss this, because where I was involved, and I can speak with authority on first hand. They've been very positive, in many ways. We have had various conferences. The coronavirus has forced everybody now to become an expert on virtual conferencing, web and all those things. And they have been very provoking, thought-provoking, because in these, the idea is not to regurgitate the obvious, repeating things which don't make much sense. If you're just repeating things, well. But the challenge is to come up with new ideas and provocative ones, so that people are thinking, can we do this thing better than we have? And I've found these engagements, there is that opportunity to provoke thinking. And you can see the reaction of the people involved. Say, yes, let's look at it that way. The people in the peace movement, I would say, one, they are very intelligent. They are very peaceful in nature. They are very cooperative. Challenges are always going to be there. They will not disappear. They will just come in at different levels. And the way the Hizmet movement managed those challenges at that time is not a closed chapter. The same way, when new ones come up, all it calls for is rethinking very quickly, without losing focus as to what is the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal being enlightenment and making sure that people come together in harmony and they see the value of valuing each other. So they should not lose focus. They should not lose hope. They should always be sure, have that faith. That's why it's a faith thing. Yeah? Have faith. So that's what I would say. Don't lose hope. Be focused and have faith. Continue with the good work. And with them there in Pennsylvania, wishing the best from God's mercies to continue giving him strength and to remain active in giving guidance to the rest of the world as to which way they should go or what they should avoid. The encouragement of interaction of different faiths and peoples is needed, increasingly needed, in a volatile world that's seemingly not to be sure anymore or of itself. So when you have a force of good, spiritual force of good, that comes up and gives direction or indicates direction, then that's positive for the world. So I like to call him Mzee. Yeah, so for the Mzee, please continue with that, and may God continue showering his blessings on you, as you also shower your blessings on the rest of the world.